What's up, guys? I'm sure most of you know that GM made an announcement last year about the DURAMAX and Allison combo. So there's actually some new news about this, and I figured I'd just do a quick video for you guys and discuss. So I'm here at Jerry Seiner GMC here in South Jordan, Utah. They have this beautiful AT4 here, and this is pretty much how I would build mine. You know, it has a clearance light. This one actually has a high clearance steps. And so one of my buddies, he has this color too, titanium rush, really pretty color. Let's go ahead and quickly just show you the window sticker and payload in case you are interested in buying this truck, or maybe you want to order one just like this, and then we'll jump into the video. So here's the description: titanium rush, and then this is a short listing of the standard features. Okay, now base price $73,400, and I still think this is the best price HD truck if you want a blackout appearance too. So this one has a diesel AT4 Premium Plus, fifth wheel prep, titanium rush, and then this one has the upgraded tires. And destination is, holy smokes, $27.95, so it's going up another $200, and now you have a total price of $91,055. So you guys see here, front gross axle weight rating is going to be 5,600 pounds. The rear is 7,250 pounds. Gross vehicle rating is 12,100 pounds. 20.5 wide wheels. Payload is 3,664 pounds. 20,000 pound conventional towing. 21.6 for gooseneck and most likely fifth wheel too. 30,000 pound gross combined weight rating. But what I want to show you guys is this right here. This is the build date. So it was built in December of 2025. Okay, now GM and Allison came to an agreement that they were no longer going to brand their trucks with Allison. So I guess they couldn't come to an agreement on pricing. Allison said, nope, well, we're not gonna let you use our name on the side of your trucks. I'm not sure the main reason why they did that. Now, some people would probably speculate and say it's probably because of the issues that the 10L1000 transmission has had. But I don't know if that's even true, because I don't know, like, my humble opinion is I think that it's all about money at the end of the day. And I think GM wasn't willing to pay Allison to continue to brand their trucks with their name. Now, just in case you're new to the GM side of things, GM has been using Allison transmissions behind the DURAMAX for a long time. Somewhere in like the either late 90s or early 2000s is when they started branding their trucks with the Allison name. And at that time, they were using true Allison transmissions. Now, in 2020, that changed. GM decided to build their own 10-speed transmission, and they got the stamp approval to continue to use Allison's name, because if Allison were to build that 10-speed, they probably would have built it the way GM did. So they got the stamp of approval to continue to use the name. But the reality is, this truck, along with all the trucks from the earlier years from 2020 on, do not have true Allison transmissions. And I'm going to say something very controversial for some of you guys. I'm really happy that these trucks no longer have the true Allison, because if you don't know, even to this day, they still have only 6-speed transmissions. And if you've ever seen the gearing in the 6-speed transmission, you would absolutely agree with me that no, you do not want a branded Allison transmission in these trucks. Remember, from 2019 and earlier pickups, these trucks had the lowest towing capacity. Their max tow, this is max tow now. This is a 2-door dually, probably 4x2. Max tow was like 23,000 pounds. That was it. So this truck can almost out tow max tow from 2019 and earlier. I hope that sinks in just a little bit for all you guys out there. So yes, the 10L1000 has had its challenges. We know about the valve bodies, we know about the torque converters. Now the question is, for GM, are they going to fix these issues? But yeah, this badge used to have an Allison stamp here. Now it just has the 6.6 liter centered on it. So here's a older truck right here. Excuse me. This is a 2020 to 23. Now you'll see it does have the Allison branded transmission badge right there. But ladies and gentlemen, it does get more interesting. Let's go for a quick drive. Today I made a joke to the dealership. I said the divorce is final because I found this truck today and saw that it didn't have the Allison badge. I'm going to show you guys another truck here that doesn't have it. It's the Denali Ultimate. You guys know that they were using that badge obviously behind the diesel and their 6.6 liter gas engine. I don't know if there's a gas truck here with the badging, but on the diesels you saw the one here. But I want to show you the Denali Ultimate badge too, because these are the only two trucks here that have the new badging. So the news that was sent out today, I made a joke to the dealer, and the general sales manager Glenn here at Jerry Signer says, actually I got an email or a notification that GM and Allison came to an agreement. So now this truck and the one I'm about to show you are special because they no longer have that Allison badge on the side. But at some point you're going to start seeing these trucks shipped to dealerships with the Allison branding. So we should be there in a second. I'm going to show you guys the Denali badge, and then we'll pretty much wrap up this video with a few remarks. So here is the old badge for the Ultimate, and this is the new one. I just got home and I noticed that they are actually releasing articles. Today's the 5th, but you guys will see this video tomorrow on the 6th. But yes, there's really no information on why. They don't really explain what actually happened. It's probably just a closed door meeting. I'm willing to bet you it had a lot to do with money. I know some people might think that it's because the Allison transmissions or the branded 10L1000 Allisons were having issues and Allison didn't want the name associated with that. But I'm willing to bet you guys that it's all about money. So yeah, if you have any insider news or anything like that, let us know in the comment section. But yeah, I don't see anything that really shows value or insight of what really happened. I've only driven maybe 2 or 3 trucks with the 6-speed transmission. I've towed with it in the past, and they are good transmissions. I'm not saying they're not. I want to make that point here. But what you have to understand is when you're competing with the likes of, man, speak of the devil, a Ram with that new 8-speed, and now with Ford having a 10-speed, GM had to step up their game because, as I said, the gearing in the 6-speed transmission was laughable compared to the likes of, you know, the Eisen at the time. And of course, now with Ford having their 10-speed, I mean, these transmissions are just significantly better by putting the power down. I mean, they're so much better that you don't have to have a 373 or a 410 axle ratio out back because the 10-speed does a lot of the work for you. And one thing I will also remind you of is, even when you run 37s or taller tires, they typically will still go into 10th gear, which is shocking. I would have thought because of the 342 that these trucks wouldn't be able to get into 10th gear, but no. When I had my dually on 37s, that truck locked into 10th gear all the time, no problems, never jumped out of it. So yeah, I like the idea of this 10-speed transmission. If you're concerned about reliability, here's what I'll tell you. Don't follow the manufacturer's guidelines for your filter changes, for your fluid changes. I did my fluid and filter change at 30,000 miles, and I was going to build my transmission this year, but I want to wait and see what happens. I want to now see if I do have the same issues that some of you other guys have had on your trucks. I know some of you guys have mentioned in the comment section you've had issues with your valve bodies. And I remember there was a time when my dealership locally here, Jerry Signer, had like 4 or 5 trucks sitting out back waiting for valve bodies. Like, that did happen. And one of the master techs here, he had told me, he said, yeah, the 10 speeds have that issue, and if you are looking to improve the transmission, that is the major one. Now, they do say the torque converters can have issues, but that's far and few between compared to the valve bodies. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that GM's Allison branded transmission was a big deal? Do they really have to have that branding when it's not truly a Allison built transmission? Does it really matter? Because I already kind of proved to you that it's not a big deal, simply because this transmission is better in every way. I'm just being completely honest with you guys. If I had to choose between an Allison branded transmission and this one, I would choose this one every time, and I would deal with the issues, because again, if you do your maintenance and you're obviously being mindful of, you know, your temperature, right? Most people start to do this, right? I always recommend that you always have an idea of your transmission temp and know before you start giving it the juice, because sometimes people just don't understand how these trucks work. If you're giving it wide open throttle when the transmission is still really cold and it's, you know, 20 degrees outside, then yeah, sure, you're probably going to add more wear and tear and potentially damage those transmissions. But I will admit, GM needs to do a better job as well. They need to give the consumer the confidence that they need. We shouldn't treat these things like they're so fragile. We should be able to just jump in them and drive them and, you know, be able to have better reliability out of them. But the reality is you still have to do your part as the owner too. I don't really hear about a lot of people having issues who actually maintain their trucks and don't complain about shorter service intervals. If you're doing a lot of towing, if you're doing snow removal, yes, you probably should be doing fluid changes maybe yearly, depending on how many miles you drive a year. So again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. See you guys soon.